Okay, here we go. Hopefully the audio levels are working. Josh, do you want to say hi?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Okay, there we go. Let's get into it. Hey everybody. It's a Friday and Josh and I thought it would be good to do a live stream. We got some pretty good feedback from our last live stream, part 4. So this one's part 5. And the idea today is we want to continue with me showing Josh what's possible with Fishbowl's database and queries and things like that. The reason why the live stream has been a bit I would say delayed from our what we planned on going is technology. The virtual machine that we're using is fine. It's just that it decides because we don't use it very often. It decides to Windows update, so we've been kind of waiting for all the Windows updates to finish so that we can run the demo. But anyway, we're just gonna get through to it. So apologies if we have any technical difficulties. We wanted to get some of this out. And before we start, let me ask Josh, how you doing? How's life been?
Oh, man, every day is different. Wake up one day and you're feeling optimistic and it's okay. The next you're like, what was I thinking yesterday? This sucks.
Hope you're not talking about
It's
our clients.
no, 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 no. I'm definitely talking about coronavirus and all
Yeah.
the other stuff and having meetings with my kid in the background blowing his whistle that my wife bought for him because he was a good boy. He wasn't really a good boy, but now he has a whistle inside a house. The clients are like, is somebody whistling? And then, sorry, Xander, stop with the whistle. And then, like a few minutes later, the ambulance comes on. They're like, is your son driving an ambulance in the house? Like, no, I live in New York City. This is every 5 minutes. It's all ears. The ambulance is here. So, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
that's where I've gotten very good at I'll put this on the stream, very good at the microphone mute
Oh, yeah.
on my
You got to
headset.
get better.
Uh and then sometimes I don't get it right. I'm prone to spontaneous sneezing sometimes. And it's obviously it's really bad now in coronavirus. So I have to get pretty close. And sometimes I miss it, and I just blow out everyone's eardrums with their because everyone's using headsets now and earphones and earbuds, AirPods, and I feel really bad about
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
No,
Anyway,
no.
let's get into it. So from
Okay.
actually what was interesting the other time you and I had a live stream it was about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
We had a meeting with a client, and they were kind of needing the same thing that you and I just talked about, which is like we've been using Fishbowl for 2 years. We're now ready to take it to the next level. In fact, they've had internal conversations where um, we are looking to maybe switch out Fishbowl because we think it can't do X, Y, or Z. And I go, well, do you just want to have like an hour where we just kind of like try? Let's just go for it. And he said, yeah, because I'm working with the IT guy, and this particular individual, he's very open on doing cool new things, and I love working with him. And so we decided just he came, he had another story going on, but he just came home, and we came back to Florida, and we were able to do a Zoom meeting, and we said, okay, let's just start with what kind of query are you looking for. So I let me switch over to the virtual machine here, and the funny part was he wanted something. You know what? Give me like I just need all the sales data. I just need all of it, right? Like, okay, what do you need? Do you need like um, the things that are shipped? It's like yeah, I only care things that are shipped. Things that are like in quotes and yeah, I don't. That's for later. I just need everything that's gone out the door. So before that meeting started, I had another request and made this query ahead of time, and I just dropped this in there and said, okay, here's the kitchen sink. Like literally everything that I can think about that is would be useful on sales data for your purposes. Here you go, right? And he's like, why was that so easy? Why haven't we done this earlier? I was like,
Right.
I don't know, like, because you've been waiting. And what was happening was internally at the company they were already selecting other platforms and other solutions possibly to replace Fishbowl. So, but my contact, my colleague said, like, you guys, if we're not even able to do what we need to do inside of Fishbowl because we're just not categorizing things at all, then how were we going to be able to do the same thing in another platform? Like Fishbowl can do what you're asking for. So what we're going to try to do is essentially kind of go through the same, because I can't use the customer's same database, even though it was impressive. They had 2 years of sales history. They sell a product that has a color and different product types. So the whole idea was to be able to slice and dice between, is Texas or Louisiana or whatever. What is the top colors in those regions, and how do we effectively, communicate that information amongst all the data that we already had in the system? So I thought that we should do a kind of like a recreation of that using the Fishbowl Bikes database, and try to do some of what we did. It won't be as impressive because we don't have the full data set. Um, Maybe one day we get a customer who would like to do that with their live database, but not their live customer information, like not the same product numbers, not the same descriptions, not the same addresses, not the same customer names. We would probably just obfuscate those, like actually go into the database and update all the data to be just like numeric in format. And maybe we just keep the city state zip so that we can still do some geo analysis as well. But yeah, that offer is open. I'd love to do a part 6, maybe with some good awesome data that we can work with. That'd be amazing. That'd make the show a lot more interesting. But yeah, anyway, that offer's out there. Contact us on our normal channels. Go on our website. I think we have a YouTube at IsraelLopezConsulting.com, and just send us a note, and we'd be happy to organize that and put you on the show next time. Cool. Okay, let's get into it. First things first. So this query, Josh, let's kind of walk
Mm-hmm.
through a little bit of it. So
Yeah.
the what I had built is essentially in sections here, right? So I've
Mm-hmm.
got the sales order number, the date created, date issued, date completed, the sales order status, the post date, right? So I've
Mm-hmm.
kind of carefully selected the fields that I think were relevant to a customer, maybe that sells things to consumers or to B2B, like something that's really
Mm-hmm.
kind of easy to understand. So we've got the bill to name, address, city, state, zip, country, same thing, ship to name, city, state, zip, country. And then I start doing like something like the line type, right? So we show that where we got a
Quick,
sale. Go ahead.
quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I see you're doing a lot of formatting of the names. Is there a reason why your names are better than theirs? Is there a reason why they wouldn't just make it clear in the first place? That you like, I see Bill underscore country is the same as Bill underscore country, but so dot bill to zip is that? Oh, because it has the word so in it. Has
Yeah,
the and
because
it's not necessary.
and the reason is because we may have, for example, and the build to and ship to zips are, the same addresses. I just
I
This is
see.
my style. Actually, ILC has like an internal style document on how to write SQL,
I got it.
and we're just following it. We made one like many years ago because we have 4 or 5 people here, developers, report developers, myself, that write SQL. So the idea is to be more consistent,
Right.
so that is readable.
Okay.
And this is the kind of the style. So actually, this would be the kind of the same style that we would put into our products. So it's just a discipline that we apply. But yeah, so the idea is that I like to kind of separate the source of what it is and then the noun of what it is in underscores, and then if I have aliases, the same thing, alias, source, and the noun in underscores, because I think the underscore is just a little easier. It's an extra keystroke, but the other thing too is it makes it easier for report development as well, because because then we have to type this out in JavaScript if we're talking about Power BI or Fishbowl iReport, and it's just a little easier if we're just consistent. That's all, you know. But yeah, so ostensibly I could just have product number without the alias, but I like it better with the alias. So that's it. You know.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
And sometimes when we're dealing with some of these other functions, and good that you asked, you know, after we get the line type, the sales order line number, the product number, product description, we get the posting data now, and we're doing things like post SO item quantity, which is in this case I call it the ship quantity. That's actually not correct. That is because I think there's some returns in here. Well, maybe not. Um, that is the accounting quantity, right? So I just call it ship quantity here for fun. But then we have things like the line unit price, right? Where if we have things like you know, adjustments and things like that, I like to do this instead of the SO item unit price, which could be a little inaccurate. And then we've got the total revenue amount, which is what would get posted to QuickBooks or accounting. And then the line unit cost, which is just the posted total cost divided by the quantity. Now I know the costs. And then I do some other math down here where we say, okay, we've got margin, which is the price minus the cost. And then we've got margin percentage. Oh, of course.
Oh no.
Windows, you're trying to update and take all my storage, aren't you? I bet you that's what it's doing. It's going, hey, do you want to update to Windows, latest Windows? I
It's a
hope
virtual.
it's
It's
a
a virtual
virtual
machine, right?
system, yeah. So I hope we don't have
Yeah.
42 megs.
Oh crap.
This live stream is not going very well. So let me
Can you
let me
clear anything?
I'm just gonna work on this for a little bit. If anybody wanted to skip ahead on the video, that they're more than welcome to. Let me see what the hell is going on. I think I know what's going on. Josh, if you just want to talk about your day. Oh, I know why. Because
Sure.
I've got multiple installations of Fishbowl.
Okay. That's good. No, we can't run it because it's running in the
Yeah.
background. So cool. Well, now we're getting a lesson on how to clean up storage on a virtual drive.
Yep. Of course, it's not always the easiest thing to do. Yeah, technology is a bit of a pain. I hope that gives me more space. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
It's a big one right there.
Okay, almost there.
Uh-huh.
I have a feeling
Okay,
that
that should be okay.
yeah, yeah. I just gotta figure out where all this space is being used up, and
Isn't there like something you can run that shows the storage like by size or
you know what?
what's
Probably it is. You know, probably it is. No one can see this as I've got all these installers from
right.
previous efforts. So those are just gonna get flattened. Just delete
Okay.
all these files. Okay. All right. How much space did I get back? 4 gigs.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
I think that is decent
Almost done.
enough, as long as Windows doesn't need to download Windows again. Okay. Anyway, so we've got the query. Let's talk about it a little more. So this is the results. Now, a lot of companies would just take this, right? They can take the kitchen sink query, save it, and then they're more than happy to export this to Excel. And let me open my documents here. And kitchen sink query, and open that up in Excel, and that's totally fine. You still have to do formatting here. Notice the dates are still in the I guess Excel date format.
Right.
You still format them as date. No problem. Like this is probably a lot cleaner than what a lot of customers already are used to on Fishbowl. So you know, no big deal. It's easy. Same thing with Excel or CSV. I prefer to the Excel format over the CSV format, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
So now what we're going to do is set up the process for ODBC, right? And to do that, we have to be a little more careful. This step, because I was working with my other customer, the IT guy, he already had ODBC installed. He already had Excel ready to go. But to do this next part, we have to kind of figure out what kind of version of Excel do we have. And I'm going to take a look at the details here for Excel. And I believe if there's no star 32 here in the task manager for Excel, then it's 64-bit Excel. And I think the same thing here if you see it in this list. Yeah, not 32-bit. So what I'll have to do is go set up the drivers for MySQL for 64-bit Excel. So what I'm going to do is, MySQL ODBC, and go to the first link. And what we're going to do is we don't want the full installer. We just want what we want.
Mm.
And it's going to be this one here, x86 64-bit MSI installer. It might ask you for a login. We don't want to do that. Okay, cool. So now we've got the installer. We're going to give that a run. And hopefully I don't know what's going on. Did we run out of space again?
No, you think you have 5 gigabytes?
Took 5 gigabytes out. Technology is not my friend today.
Anything's better than throwing a steel ball at a bulletproof car and having it smash on his face.
You know what? That's Elon Musk, right?
Yes.
I bet he did it on purpose. Honestly.
No, there's no way. They made him look so stupid. Come on. What could he possibly gain from that? He did it twice, and he did it twice and broke 2 windows.
Maybe is this just broken on archive? You know what? Let's go to the archive. Let's go like 5 versions back, because I have no idea what's wrong. All right, let's try this again. And I think that's the biggest challenge with some of this. And okay, I'm not an idiot.
All right.
I'm not terrible at my job. MySQL just literally released a version that doesn't work. So anyway, that's cool. Thanks MySQL for introducing your bugs in my demo. Anyway, so now we've got the driver installed. What we're going to do is go to ODBC in your start menu, type in ODBC, and select the 64-bit. Now, if you don't see this, it's because you've got older versions of Windows, and there are more specific ways of doing this. So maybe I'll have a link on how you can kind of follow that along. Or if you want to pay us to figure it out, we can figure it out. So what we're going to do is we can either do a couple of things. We can do a user DSN and a system DSN. And what that means is we're basically setting up a name that other applications can use to then access the Fishbowl connection from like Excel, for example. I prefer systems DSNs. If your IT team only allows you to do user DSNs, those work fine too, but I'm going to do a system DSN for now because that's what I'm used to, and it's fine. So now what's next is we'll set up the actual driver connection. So you'd want to select the ODBC 8.0 Unicode driver because we are dealing with text, Unicode text. And we're going to call this Fishbowl. And the TCP server, this would be your Fishbowl server port. And a lot of times, the server that has Fishbowl doesn't open up the port. So this could be a failure point. So in this case, since I'm on the same system, I just type in localhost. Typically, it'd be like your 192.168.0.10, server address, whatever the address is for your Fishbowl client. So if you don't know what that is, you can do that here under Program Options, Server, and Server Addresses right there. Right. Back to the setup. the port is not the standard port of 3306. It's actually 3305, right? And the user is gone fishing,
Fishing.
right? And then if the password's correct, you should be able to hit the little drop down here and pick a
Nice.
database, right? Now we've got several databases here, and you may not know which one you're actually using. So I actually have a pretty cool trick. If you go to the data module and you have access to it, click on New, do select database, open parens, end parens from dual. And if you run that, I'm using
Fishbowl
fishbowl
demo
underscore
US.
demo US. Yep, exactly.
Cool.
So I sometimes, because the other way to look at it is when you've got the server icon in your
Right.
computer, you can look at it from here, which is also
That's how I
available.
do it.
But sometimes I'm working with just the Fishbowl client, and
Mhm.
I might not have the right access. So
Awesome.
Fishbowl demo US test connection successful.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, I just learned something too.
Yep. There you go.
Good.
That was the goal. That was the goal. Um, okay, so now we've got ODBC set up. Now the next step is to get an ODBC aware application like Excel connected to it. This virtual machine has Excel 2013, which is not too old, but not the newest. I know a lot of companies are using Office 365. My company does. It's just that this test environment doesn't have it. Probably next time another live stream will do that with Excel 365, but it's generally the same. The procedures might be a bit different. That's all. Nothing too more onerous than that. We're going to set up a blank workbook, and the idea is to just get it ready. In this version of Excel, we'll go to the data tab. We will then now get external data. Here's a little subgroup, and we're going to say from other sources, right? And what we're going to do is from Microsoft Query, right? So remember, this is the older style of doing it. There are a lot better styles nowadays, but if I had time, I would have set up Excel 365. So then this step is telling you which data source you want to connect to. In this case, I want to download Fishbowl or connect to Fishbowl. Click OK. It's going to make its connection. Oh, that's weird. Cancel. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna give it queries manually. Close. That's fine. Then we click on the SQL button here, and we're gonna paste. Oops, that's the wrong SQL. That's the live stream link because I need to send that to a social media team, which is just, I say a team, but it's just my wife. She does a good job. And then we're going to paste the query here. But the one thing I'm going to do is actually get rid of this little last line here because, hey, that's a Fishbowl thing, and we want all of it anyway. So then we're going to click OK, and then that's ready to go. Raw data is ready to go. File, return data to Microsoft Excel. Where do you want it? I want it in this current sheet, in A1. OK, and boom, there it goes. A couple of things. Notice how my aliases are now gone.
Oh,
yeah.
wait.
Yeah, Excel
So
Excel does that.
uses the
It sees the SQL, understands the SQL, says like, yeah, but I know better. I'm like, no, you don't. Why did you take my
Okay.
Why did you take my aliases out? So
Okay.
if that happens, we go to connections under the data tab, and then we go to the quick workbook connections. This is good if you want to make changes later down the road. And we'll go to definition here and see the SQL. So they just took out all the aliases, right? So I'll just paste it in there again, get rid of this last line as before, and we're going to click OK. And okay, here we go. Now we've got our aliases, right?
Oh, wow.
So then what's going to happen is we're going to save this real quick and browse. We're going to call this kitchen sink query ODBC, right? And now I want to do what everybody wants to make sure we can do is like, okay, I don't know if I trust you. How do I know this won't break a little later? So we'll open up the document manually again here. So here's the file, and notice that it's got some heft to it, right? It's actually got some data. So if you open it, what's happening is that Excel has actually extracted the data and put it in the worksheet, right? So the customer I was working with last Friday, they had 2 years of data, and they actually had like a gosh, it was like I think an 80 meg Excel sheet,
Oh, wow.
which is huge, it's absolutely huge. And
But it's updating in real time though? Like if
well,
you run
so
some.
yeah, so here's what will happen with this version of Excel. And notice that there's external data connections, and that's a security warning. They always want you to not have things
Oh,
automatically run.
right.
So we're going to click on Enable Content, right? And nothing will happen at this point, right? So what you would do now is if you want to actually refresh your data from Excel, you'd hit this, go to the Data tab, and hit Refresh icon. And it went so fast that it actually did a number of things. It went connected to the data source name, it ran the query, and then any new results, it threw it at the bottom of this list, right?
Cool.
So what I'm going to do is actually sort the post date from newest to oldest, right? Put the most recent stuff at the top, and we're going to go process an order in Fishbowl, and it should be fine, right? So I'm going to go to shipping module. I've got some things to ship. I'm going to hit the ship button there. Your internet connection is unstable. Thanks, Zoom. I think Zoom is unstable. We'll see. We'll find out if we get some complaints on the live stream. And so I, shipped 1013 order, and it's out the door. So now if I go back to my Excel sheet here, I hit the refresh all, then I've got that new record right then and there with the 5/15 date of today.
Wow.
So really, it's not that challenging, you know. So so this is good. We've got some raw data. This is great. People can start imagining what they can do. So this is where I start blowing my client's mind when I go like, okay, so now we're here, right? How about we start doing some pivot tables, right? So since this is a table inside of Excel, you can go to the Design tab of the Table Tools section and click on Summarize with Pivot Table, right? And with that, we should be able to continue with the process. Yep, I want that. And now we've got the pivot table that everybody loves and knows and goes, okay, what can we really do with this? And we'll just do some things where we say maybe post date. Oh, it doesn't aggregate it. It knows it's a date, right? Post date. Maybe I want to make this a regular date, short date. There we go. I think it's going to be better that way. Anyway, let's. That's just Excel. Excel's being silly. That's definitely a date. It's trying to. It's trying to. You know what? Oh, you know why? I know why. This version of Excel doesn't have auto categorization, auto grouping. So we're gonna group this by. There we go. There we go. All right. So now we've got some grouping, right? So let's just zoom this in for the home audience. And okay, but okay, what I don't know. This is not that cool. What cool is it? I was like, well, we'll get there. Come on, we're getting there. Let's do total revenue. Oh, now we're cooking with gas. So let's do some renaming things of columns. We'll give this a currency format, and boom. So now we have. So again, not as impressive because we're dealing with such an example database, but it was really darn impressive when we had 2 years of actually good Fishbowl sales data, and it was meaningful to the customer, right? I can't stress this enough when it's actually meaningful data to review with the customer where they go, wow, that's something, right? Maybe we need to break this out by customer. Maybe we want to see how a customer's been doing over a long period of time, right? So maybe we add customer name across the top here, which is you probably wouldn't do, honestly. But now we can start seeing the sales history of these customers, and honestly, you didn't need to write us, pay for somebody like me to go write you a report in the paper report system in Fishbowl, right? If you have the ODBC and you've got a good data set that you like and you're interested in, then there's really no reason for us to do these slicing and dicing type of reports unless there's a really good reason to, meaning where you need the result in a non-editable way, meaning you don't want anybody to pre-filter these results so that they're hiding all the fakes or whatever. So that's probably the only time I think a customer would want us to make a hard report in Fishbowl. But generally, if you're doing analysis, this is perfectly fine, right? Josh, am I blowing your mind?
A little bit.
A little bit.
I've seen a YouTube video of you doing stuff like this before. So, but it looks like voodoo.
It's not that much. Because in
You're
the
just
end,
used to
yeah, I'm
it.
used to it. Yeah, that's probably the only thing I can think about it. Is like, yeah, I'm just used to it. But it
It is
is,
pretty cool.
but honestly, it really is. This is a lot better of a process to solve problems for data purposes than spending a lot of effort and time, right? So now let's
Right.
see if the live stream can handle it. We're going to go download Power BI desktop version and do the same thing. Where we're going to run the query, but inside of Power BI and put some of these analysis things on the plate here. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to minimize that, minimize that, minimize that, and we're going to go to Chrome, and we're going to Google for Power BI Desktop. Downloads. That's what we want. Download that guy. It wants to go to the Microsoft Store. Sneaky. I don't want to go there. I just want the individual installer. There we go. There we go. Okay, so now we're downloading it.
Anyway,
I suggest the 64-bit version, and because it's the latest and greatest, so why not? So we'll let that. We'll download that. Thankfully, I see Zoom. I don't have a bad internet connection. It's just you downloading 200 megs in 300 megs in just 2 minutes. Thank goodness
so
for.
that happens to you too, because I get that all the time, and like my internet's
Well,
fast, so it's their servers.
yeah, maybe. But at the end, you don't really know because if your audio quality is just bad for the meeting, uh, like
I get slow connection, and it cuts off in the middle and is reconnecting. And I'm like, my internet, I check the speed, and it's like 200, megabits per second. So I'm like, what the hell's going on here? It
yeah,
must
we
be on
have
their
we
side. They're
we got
just
the
putting
gigabit
it on you.
service here about a year ago, and it was a really good decision, really really good.
Well,
While this is installing, I'm gonna take a break here and pull up something that I found rather recently on the internet. I'll read out to the audience here, which I thought was very very uh, very very prescient because of what people maybe complain about with Fishbowl and QuickBooks and things like that. And while we're waiting for the Power BI to install, I think it'll probably take a little while here, and then we'll go into it. So he's saying, I work for a large manufacturer, and this is SAP accountant. Is my company doomed? I work for a larger manufacturer. They just went live with SAP on 1/1/2018, and it's been a pretty major cluster from what I can see. I was hired in July of 2018 to be an analyst with our government work, but once they figured out I had undergrad and master's in accounting, I was moved into the financial reporting side and began my SAP journey. And now, due to layoffs, I'm one of the most senior people on the team. Turnover was not the best before COVID. They went through 3 managers of financial reporting during pre go live, and the person who stayed for the go live never did true accounting work in her career, an internal bump. Apparently, they started the SAP process 3 years before going live, and all the consultants were told to leave in April of 2019 after management was getting frustrated. I still do not have a valid way to track and reconcile inventory. Countless settlement errors, and our internal processes is full of errors. Scrap is not processed correctly, etc. Is this common for 2 years post go live? I am by far not an IT guy, so a lot of the project management expects me to know the system are way over my head, and I was not here for any go live prep. They expected to know how to track items through multiple backend tables, understand why we have countless errors, improve processes, fix major sales order issues, etc. FYI, none of the pre-live Go documentation was ever updated by the team, so trying to get more information on how uh, things were being done is just not possible. Uh, no one seems to be able to give me a solid background on how our system is truly working, other than it's not doing it right and the error lists are too large. I want to do the best job possible, but I feel undergunned. I want to know how to do clean, concise accounting work and analyze data for management decisions. Prior to coming to this company, I was an auditor in public accounting for 7 tax seasons and an intern, 2 as an intern, and the rest as normal staff. Blah 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 blah. Never had any issues with clients getting me data like I have with SAP. It's a Reddit post. There's a Reddit SAP. I lurked there. Same thing with the NetSuite folks. There isn't one for Fishbowl. Maybe I should go make one. But these are the, like, if anybody would say like the grass is greener on the other side in the higher tier mid market, it's not. Like it's just more complex, and you should only deal with more complexity if you can actually handle the complexity. Um, Obviously, I wouldn't recommend Fishbowl in that situation because hell, anything with government, who knows what's going on there. But generally, what I would say is, if you if you really don't understand your system, don't go live with it. But I think a lot of companies should uh, take comfort in that the things that we can do in Fishbowl is a lot more approachable because it's a lot smaller system. We don't really have to worry about some of the things that we're dealing with at SAP over there because it's just so darn big, right? Or NetSuite, also a very big system. Anyway, the installation's done, so let's continue with that. Just wanted to share that little story because I found it interesting this morning with breakfast. So what we're going to do now is we've got Power BI Desktop, right? And Power BI Desktop is the tool that you would use to build your analysis solutions for Power BI. And Power BI has another component to it, which is the public dashboards or sharing of that data. Now, Power BI Desktop is just the editor, right? So if you wanted to share this with other people, you'd have to share your workbook, your actual Power BI Desktop file with other people, and there wouldn't really be much of an opportunity to put it on public. However, we do partner with Power BI experts and dashboard people. So if you have an interest in Power BI for your company, give us a shout. We'll be able to probably put you in touch with our Fishbowl database experience, their Power BI experience. Um, I've only gotten just so far with Power BI, not even really scratching the surface, but I'm fairly competent at it, I would say. Anyway, so if you're starting it up, this is what you probably are seeing now. What we're going to do is we don't really need to sign in. We don't, just kind of ignore that. We're going to just get data here. Right, click that, and let's wait for it to load. There we go. So now we have an opportunity to connect to things. Now you normally would think that we'd want to use the ODBC connection, which we just set up and sure is in here somewhere. Yeah, ODBC. In fact, I don't want to do that. I want to use the MySQL database connection. Right? That is probably a better connection. Oh, come on. Okay, fine. Another thing to install. Why not? See, this is the sort of stuff. So these and I'm glad we're kind of going through this because then people can see, that what that
Yeah, it would be
it's
really good.
these are solvable problems. They're not
Oh,
that
okay.
challenging. But also for the IT staff, like if you are going to roll this out, hey, watch, we've got a lot. We're showing you all the challenges, so the speed bumps are not as scary. Okay, so we installed the components. I bet now that I've installed that thing, I got to close it and reopen it. Let's do that. And it looks like we might have enough time. I'm just looking at my calendar here on the left, on my right of the screen. And it looks like still have enough time, maybe even for a Tableau session too. So let's see if we can get that in here
Oh,
as well. I'm sure. So nice thing about Power BI is that once you download it, you don't have to send it your email. No one's gonna bother you. No one's gonna like try to sell you on anything. If you want
why
the,
not?
well, because with with Tableau, for example, you have to give them your email address to get the trial. You know
I
what I
see.
mean? So it's like you kind of
Oh,
have to.
I thought you were saying Microsoft doesn't sell. I'm like, I don't know. I got a
But
lot of Power
they
BI
do. But
units.
like they'll totally leave you alone if you're just using Power BI Desktop. If you want to use the
Right,
cloud version
right.
of this, yeah, there's gonna be costs
Yeah.
involved. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we got to do some of that same setup that we did with the database with the ODBC connection, but that's totally okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do server localhost, and then I know from experience that to do the port thing, you got to give it the colon 3305. Database Fishbowl Demo US, right? Advanced options, and then we're going to paste our query in here. Take out the last line because we don't need it, and then we're going to continue. Okay, so now it's going to ask for credentials. Instead of Windows credentials, we're going to use database credentials, and we're going to say gone phishing.
Gone fishing.
Yep, really easy. Yep, I get it. We're not using encrypted connection. That's because we're inside the network. It's not a big deal. Okay, so now it's previewing our data. It's like, yep, that looks good to me. Load it, right? And unlike the Excel where you can kind of see all the raw data, that's not really what Power BI is for. Power BI is for is not just creating a table to look at. It's intended to be able to create insights or visualizations on that data. So now that it's loaded some data, normally this is a lot faster with a real computer because I'm using a virtual machine, Zoom, and live streaming at the same time. My computer's not that happy. So we're ready to go. So a couple of things here. What we're gonna do is probably like let's do a column chart, right? And so it's giving us a chart, not a big deal. So maybe we do the date, right? So it's giving us a year, and maybe we do total revenue. Check that off too. Right, boom. Now we have two bars, right? Maybe we don't want that. Maybe we want to see a pie chart of our product numbers. Cool. And a total revenue. Boom. See how easy
Excel
that
have the
was?
same capabilities though?
Excel has very similar capabilities. So let's pop over to Excel. Can Excel do the same thing? So the way to do that, let's get rid of this. Turn that off. Turn that off. Turn that off. Turn that off. Let's do product number over here. Same thing. And then what we could do is instead of analyze, we can do a pivot chart, pie chart, and there you go. Very similar. So let's pop back over to Excel.
So where's the benefit of Power BI to Excel?
Well,
There's other stuff, I imagine.
Well, for one, I think Excel has that familiarity, right? Because you're kind of looking at this. It's kind of like, the Excel is an analysis tool, but not a presentation tool, right? Power BI can be a presentation tool, right? So if
But
you
they
have,
both present the same way that we just did. You're saying there's other presentation tools that are more advanced that are not available in Excel, which makes it stand out.
well, I think part of it too is Excel is not it's like it's got analysis tools like charting and things like that, but it's not designed to be, for example, imagine all the steps we had to do to get this far, right? We had to make a pivot chart, and then we have to make a pivot table, and then to make a pivot chart, right? Versus here, we just have a pie chart, and we tell it what to do. That was it, and we can move it around, you know, and we can start designing this a little easier. So so this might be a bit better where I go kind of sell a little more on Power BI. So if you go to their Power BI homepage here, and I think they're
Set up a dashboard.
Yeah, so you start setting a dashboard, right? You go, okay, how do I get this, right? Well, I can really easily break down. This is a card, where it filters revenue for year to date from the Australia country, the Canada country, the France. They just put cards there, right? And then they put this kind of like I don't know exactly know what that is chart, but this is a size chart. This is a Sankey chart, um, and so this is the kind of like revenues, movement that's going on in the company. So it's these kind of experiences are things that can be built, and every company has different sort of things. You can't just take a Power BI workbook and just say, "Give me that." It's more of a conversation. I wouldn't begin to think about giving a Power BI workbook to a customer unless I kind of knew what they're getting at. So we might try that at some point. Make pre-developed Power BI workbooks that connect to your Fishbowl database and extract the basics and show that off. But this is way better than what some companies can do, right? I think even here we can do a geographic map. Map. Yep. And I think we can do zip codes, ship zip. And I think we can do revenue. Revenue. I don't think it likes that. I think we want to do a filled map. Yeah. So this is the see, this is the thing that I think I'm not doing Power BI too much justice here, because the mapping isn't nearly as complete or complete as what you might expect. So maybe we don't want to do that. Maybe we want to do one of these tree maps to indicate sales by a zip code. Let that chunk through, and because I'm doing all these streaming things at the same time, it's not updating all that quickly. It's getting there. Let's do a pie chart. Well, anyway, you get the idea. So Power BI didn't take too long to get in there. That's where some of my customers would like to get into, and that's an option. So I'm gonna minimize this for now. Minimize Excel, and let's get into the other steps here of Tableau. So Tableau, I know I'm gonna get phone calls from them. So they'll go, "Hey, I saw that you downloaded our trial. Um, when can you buy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't feel like it." So let me go switch to my email in here.
Because this is all online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, Tableau has a downloadable version, but
Okay.
um, the challenge is they make you give them your email address in order to download it, right?
Right.
All right. So while they're downloading, and Tableau's a bit bigger, it's like 500 megs. My goodness, almost there. Oh, are you kidding me? Disk full.
Oh no, it's not
Uh,
really full.
that's not real, and it probably got more full than we. You know what it is? It's probably still downloading Windows updates.
Right.
All right, let's try this again.
5 gigs of updates.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do what I can to clear things up. Because I know once I install Tableau, it'll take a while. It'll just take up a lot of space. Yeah, I wish I knew what took up all my space on this system. You know what? I probably just need to just bite the bullet and give this thing more space than before.
Mhm.
All right, we're gonna try. If we don't get to the Tableau, it's because we ran out of disk space, which sucks. Yeah, install. Yes. Not enough space on disk. All right,
Oh,
we're gonna We're gonna try.
Can you expand it while having it on, or you can't do
No, no.
it?
I wish.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know what I did. I think part of it at some point, yeah, I know what it did at some point. On this virtual machine, I was testing out some issues that I was having with Visual Studio. So I think I installed Visual Studio at one point on the system, and that just takes a lot of space. Yeah, there's like gigabytes of space over here. Yeah, that's going. Bye Visual Studio. Yep. While that's going, um, we're getting ready to do more. Getting ready for Fishbowl 2020.5. So this is a good chance to talk about that a little bit while we're downloading 4 gigs of space off this virtual machine. And just as an announcement to everybody, just be aware that Fishbowl 2020.5 is going to have custom field changes. So if any of your reports are using custom fields, they're likely to not work. Actually, I know they won't work. Um, we're getting ramped up and ready to kind of communicate that to our customers and to anybody who needs the help to get that resolved and ready to go for their Fishbowl upgrade. There, one of the things you could probably do is just consider not upgrading yet to Fishbowl 2020.5, unless there's a bug in the older versions of Fishbowl that you'd really like to resolve. Don't do it. Wait. That's one of the things that's probably the hardest thing for us to communicate to people currently on the Fishbowl platform is that you kind of have to take a little bit of responsibility for the updates. We try to communicate as often as we can. Again, I'm not the one that made the changes to the Fishbowl platform for these custom field updates. We just have to take care of our customers as best as we can. And in the end, what will probably be the best thing to do is just to wait. Kind of like flattening the curve. We just at some point, if a lot of companies are out there wanting to upgrade all at the same time, it's gonna be really challenging for us to be able to resolve or respond quickly enough to those situations, and you'll have to wait. There's really no way around that. We would in that situation when Fishbowl comes out with 2020.5, we will take on Fishbowl upgrade requests and report requests on an first in first out basis, first come first serve. But don't expect us to be able to drop everything because honestly everybody else is kind of going to the same thing. So definitely schedule when you want to do an upgrade, or maybe send us your reports when you're uh, thinking about an upgrade to Fishbowl, so that way we're ready and you're ready, and there's all the downtime and confusion is taken care of, right? And I didn't realize deleting data takes so long, but this is what I get for doing a live stream. So I apologize. It'll eventually get resolved. Now, one thing I could probably talk about is say what I found recently.
Courtney and Fishbowl.
Yeah. Oh, hold on, hold on. I'm not even sharing my screen yet.
Oh, I'm just laughing because I get that a lot.
Yeah. Aquarium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's I found this web page.
Oh, interesting.
I don't even know if they're gonna stick with this name yet.
Yeah, because he keeps correcting it.
Yeah, it keeps correcting it. It is literally not the first pages. Ah, gosh. All right, almost there. I know it's in my Chrome history on my other computer. There we go. Found it. While we're deleting a bunch of stuff, we can just talk about this. Okay. So take a look at that.
Oh, interesting.
Fishbowl has decided to get into QuickBooks hosting. Which, if you
Wait,
think about it,
QuickBooks or
is a yeah. I don't know. I mean, other than the information that I came across on this page, um, this is it. This is the pricing. You know, you can scale this up to 20 users.
they're
But
going to be doing their own hosting too, though. This is for their
they are
own.
doing, yeah. So Fishbowl themselves are doing Fishbowl hosting, which would host your QuickBooks file as well if you're running QuickBooks.
Hmm.
And they're they're offering now just I guess the same hosting. I'm guessing. I don't.
They just rebranding it then?
Yeah. I think this is their effort to maybe get some QuickBooks users who are not yet ready for Fishbowl, and
Oh, okay.
maybe are tired about their other QuickBooks hosting companies.
So it's
Um,
specifically for QuickBooks. This is
yeah,
not for
QuickBooks.
Fishbowl.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's by Fishbowl,
Yeah.
so why
Okay.
not? I thought that was pretty interesting. I think that this is pretty early on. I really just stumbled upon this page. There was some job ads I heard through just through rumors, and hey, more power to them.
Cool. So they're not working with Funami anymore, or are they working somewhat?
I think they still have Unami customers, but
Okay.
I think they're going to be doing their own thing. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this is Unami. Who knows? Okay, are we done deleting stuff? I think we are. I think we've deleted enough.
Nice.
Okay. Let's go here. Let's go to downloads. Let's get the Tableau database. Then again, this virtual machine has been like, I've been running this for almost, what, 4 years now?
Oh,
So I think it's kind of long in the tooth. It probably needs to get flattened. It's
hmm.
been migrated across multiple computers. So let's get that. Let's get this going. I think this will. I think we're gonna get there. And really, in the end, we're just gonna uh, put this together. And that's the other thing too is like putting edited videos together for this takes a lot of time. Imagine if I just do this without a live stream, and that's why I do the live streams. I really want to make sure that I'm able to collaborate with you, Josh, and be able to work with maybe customers, put on a better show, talk about some of the challenges customers have on different platforms. That's why we do the live streams. Unfortunately, though, I'd love to be able to talk to people on the live stream, but the YouTube chat broke, so can't do that. I think I might even what I might start doing is have the YouTube live stream on my phone. That way, I can uh, pick up the chat through my phone instead of waiting through it to the desktop browser, which sometimes doesn't work. Tableau's almost finished. And this is a product that before Power BI was a bit more polished. I was really recommending a lot of companies try or consider Tableau Desktop, especially because they also have a free trial. That's the other thing too, is that Power BI you can kind of pick up and drop whenever you have time or energy. Tableau has that 14-day trial, which kind of like pushes you to actually try to get
Commit.
to commit to buying the product. Um, while that it's installing, let's go look at the pricing for Power BI Tableau pricing. For teams and organizations. Okay, yeah, so you've got Tableau Creator for $70 a month. Fully hosted Tableau for about that much. These other add-ons, And then you've got for individuals, which is just if you just wanted to buy it yourself, it's $70 a month. So they had a many years ago they had like a one-time price kind of thing where you bought the license for the entire year, and now they're switching over to this monthly billing model. So it's a bit more easier to jump into it. We are we would most likely do the same thing. Let me just fill out this form here. Analytics. My job role is I am nobody important. California 92618. Start trial now. I hope it lets me activate the trial. It should. Okay, cool.
Well,
You have 14-day trials, and I'm gonna get phone calls. See, this is what I do for my audience. I take the phone calls so that you guys don't have to. But I know you're gonna want to do this yourself. So anyway, so now we're in Tableau. So we're gonna do the same thing that we did in Power BI. We're gonna connect to a database. In this case, MySQL. We'll click on that. The server again is localhost. Port is 3305, right? Fishbowl database is going to be Fishbowl Demo US, right? Username for login, gone fishing, right? And then we'll sign in. So the process is a bit different between Tableau and Power BI. They still allow you to do the query structure here, right? Sometimes the query designer that I personally don't like query designers because they're always pretty inconsistent because they're just guessing. They're not that special. So if you wanted to do some of the same thing that I did by clicking and dragging, it might work. It might not. You don't know what you're going to get. It's just trying to help you out because you don't know SQL. I would say learn SQL. So anyway, what we're going to do is click on New Custom SQL. Let that pop up. Come on. Oh, there it goes. And then we're going to go paste our SQL from before. Oh, do I not have it? Darn it.
You delete it accidentally.
Yeah, because it's not no longer my copy and paste. Now
I
it's in my
thought maybe
copy
it's
and
part of the 5 gigs that you deleted.
yeah. Nope. There we
Okay,
go.
good.
All right, so now we can preview our results. Okay, so we've got that preview. Pretty nice. Cool. No dramas there. Click OK. And now what we're going to do is we're going to update now. Cool. Got our data. And we can continue. So now the next step is to go to a worksheet and start putting something together. So Tableau is a bit different in strategy and style, right? Because each sheet is a particular analysis, right? And then if you want to put more of these sheets into a cohesive like dashboard, then you've got to create a dashboard for that. So we'll probably try to do a little bit of that. So maybe the same thing we did before, maybe customer name and margin or total revenue, right? And then I want to show me a pie chart, right? That's all it is. That's it. Fit fit entire view, right? And maybe we can start doing things like maybe a label is the customer name, and maybe the total revenue is the tooltip, right? So this interaction is now possible with Tableau like that, right? Maybe I want to see another style of thing, like we did earlier, where we're trying to look at sales date by revenue, and I want to do like a chart. You see that? And if I wanted to add in the breakdowns, I can start doing that.
Nice.
Or if I want it done by rows, this is the other thing that I was doing with the other customer. I can remove this. I can just drag that out, take it off. So now I'm looking at, oops, fit standard. So now I'm looking at the year and the year across the vertically, and then the month across horizontally, and I can see if I had more than a few months of data, I can start saying, okay, compared to my January from last year to my January of this year, what is going on? You see that? And maybe I want to do some lines. So I've got the month, and then I'm gonna separate my year into different colors. So what I'm going to do is get the post date as color and make this a year, but make this not a year month, but just a month, right? Again, not as impressive because we're not dealing with specific customer data. I'd love to have customer data. At some point, again, we invite somebody to help us do that. And you can get some free analysis, free results if you're willing to come on the show. But maybe we put some of this on a single place, right? So now we make a dashboard here, and we drag in some of our tiles. So maybe we make a column here, put that there, put that there, and we do that. How about that, right? And maybe we just auto select that, and we keep only that, and we see some data there, right? Now some of the interaction stuff that we can do with Tableau can get pretty darn advanced. For example, if I hit escape here, if I say filter this, yeah, there you go. So now that I hit the little icon, use as a filter, if I select something here, it updates the results on the other sheet, on the other
cool.
analysis as well, right? So if you're of the kind of person that could, extend this and see that how this could be, this is an amazing solution, and it can go a long way. So now when I was talking to you about, presentation modes and things like that, now you can present this to your team, and interact with it live,
Oh, very cool.
right?
That's pretty cool.
So that's where some of this the differences between maybe Power BI, Tableau, and Excel, right? But it's all built on being able to have a query that that works for the use case that you're trying to solve, right?
Right. Okay. But would you say like the biggest difference between Power BI and Tableau is?
Well, one, the price. Power BI is free until you need to put it online. Let's talk about that a little bit. When you want to do Power BI, oops, if I can type right, Power BI online or pricing. There's a couple of things that you'll get with it. So Power BI Pro is the only thing you need to do to have to be able to share your results with other people using a browser, and then having the experience. And that might be one thing that we do at some point, Josh, is that we
Yeah.
have another thing where we show the online self-service BI stuff that you could do with Power BI Pro. Most of my customers will never do Power BI Premium. That's just way too much.
Right.
But there are companies out there where we will propose a solution where we build out a Power BI dashboard experience. In fact, I might even bring in one of my colleagues from down under. That'll be a late evening show because he's in Australia. Data Sites, Australia. Yep, that's him. Yep, he's a really cool guy to work with. He does our dashboards for Kevin does our dashboards for ILC, but because we don't use Fishbowl as a platform internally, we needed his help. So he does a lot of Zero, Acello, and now he's got a couple of Fishbowl customers that we've been working with him on, and he's got not only the experience with with the Fishbowl database, but he also has experience with a bunch of other platforms, so that we can start blending maybe marketing data, other data workflows into the same Power BI view, so you can look at all the different aspects of your business. It is a monthly price. He does do it by project. He is in Australia, but he's a great guy. He's really, really good. He's really sharp on business. I liked working with him, and he continues to be somebody we rely on for dashboards. But for today, we're just talking Power BI as a product. Maybe at some point we have a Tableau kind of person that's relatable to this market to talk to as well. But yeah, generally the difference is price. A lot of companies already like to use Power BI because they're using Microsoft 365 for email
Uh,
and Office 365, so it kind of fits into the overall ecosystem. And yeah, no, generally I would say, but as a product level, I personally like Power BI Tableau better, but I'm learning more and more how to make Power BI what I'd like it to be over time, because I built a few things internally for my company, and it's just as capable, if not, maybe with a few more clicks, but it's just a different way of thinking about how to solve problems with Power BI versus Tableau. Cool. Well, with
well,
that, I think we're gonna end the live stream. It's been a probably longer than we've had before, probably the longest one we've had. But thank you for joining. Anybody that wanted to listen, we'll probably be doing some shorter clips cut out with all the extra parts that are kind of boring, and we'll put shorter clips out of this live stream so that people can enjoy them in 5-minute increments rather than the hour and a half that it's taken us. But thank you for joining us. We'll be back probably in a couple weeks, talking
right.
some of the same things. Hopefully by then we have an audience member or a customer that wants to work with us with their data obfuscated. We will hide your customer's information, your actual item numbers and descriptions, things like that, and we'll 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 even change your name if you want it to be. You can be somebody else, but having good data for this analysis stuff is amazing, and we'd love to have somebody online with us to do that. Anyway, Josh, you have a good one.
Great.
We'll talk soon again. We've got probably a meeting to go to for one of our customers, but thanks. Take care, and we'll
Okay.
talk again soon.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
All right. Cheers,
All right,
everybody.
guys.
Bye.